I don't know. I had like 13 more letters. Yeah. And they're like, I don't know why.
Okay. Are you tracking them off at 360?
We told the girl what's up.
Damn.
Y'all are too dependent on each other. Think we'll have a life 360.
All right, and then when she's ready to present.
That's just-
We make sure they get to work.
Well, you had that agreement.
Check to make sure they're all at home at night, making sure they're safe.
We're the mom of the group, right? We've now become the mom of the group.
Steve is on,
With two. He's like,
so when we're ready, he'll just minimize that. But I can completely do it.
But we're on.
I was like, how about that?
Okay, alright, sold over. Alright, good morning, sorry for the delay. I'd like to call this first Wednesday, first day of October, staff Senate meeting to order. We'll now call roll.
Good morning. Senator Adams.
Here.
Senator Ashby. Senator Ashby.
No.
Senator Bailey. Senator Bartley.
Here.
Senator Basham. Senator Bryant.
Present.
Senator Coyle. Regent Hammond. Senator Henry.
Hello.
Senator Hess.
Here.
Senator Hopwood.
Yes.
Senator Hughes.
Here.
Senator Jenkins. Senator Johnson. Senator Jones. Senator Hopkins, I see is on Zoom, right?
Present.
So, Senator Ray. Senator Spittler.
Here.
Chair Vanderpool and Senator Warner.
Awesome.
Hi. All right, we're good. Thank you.
Alright, so last month's meeting minutes were sent electronically. Any adjustments or objections to those? I thought not, so hearing none, all right, we'll consider them accepted. And we start off each month with our Christopher Ware Staff Star Awards.
Right. Morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce one of our most meaningful recognitions, the Christopher Ware Staff Star Award. This award was created in honor of Christopher Ware, whose dedication, passion, and exceptional service has left a lasting impact on our university. The Staff Star Award is designed to celebrate those individuals who consistently go above and beyond in their roles, demonstrating outstanding commitment, teamwork, and excellence. These individuals embody the spirit of service that Chris represented, and through their hard work and dedication, they inspire us all. This month's recipients have made remarkable contributions that have made significant differences for our students and our colleagues. It is with great admiration that we recognize their efforts, and we are truly grateful for the energy and the passion that they bring to their roles. We will start today by recognizing Katie Bush. Katie is a manager for global programming and student services with WKU Global. She was nominated by Wes Watkins, so I would like to invite Wes up to speak on her behalf, and also Dr. Tony Dye. We'll invite them both up together. Welcome. Tell us about Katie. Thank you.
All right, so my name is Tony, and I am happy to be here to talk about Katie, even though she does not love public spotlight on what her accomplishments are, just saying. That was not one way that she would be acknowledged, but she does very much deserve the nomination for this award. Katie has been our palm tree in the office. This is her term, meaning that she is grounded, but yet it's very flexible when a lot of challenges come our way. And I've just been so proud of the way she's taken on the challenges that we faced recently with international education. Whenever I do things at her, or the outside forces throw things at her, she just takes them all head on with a can-do attitude, and just her resilience is quite amazing. I'm just thankful to have her on the team for that. And I think what gets her through all of that is her ability and desire to, like, her passion to focus on the students and providing the chance, the opportunities for faculty, staff, and students here at WKU to have a global experience or enhance their global awareness. I also think it speaks volumes that her colleague is the one that nominated her because she has been such a huge team member and she's a team player. She's a wealth of knowledge. We joke around. There was a previous colleague that joked around that she can wake up in the morning and sense that there's a deadline, and she just has that innate ability, and she shares that with the rest of the team, and she just provides so much support to all the colleagues, faculty, staff, and students here on campus. And then just a little highlight, she also shares her lovely son Gabriel with us in the office, and he has definitely brightened some kind of otherwise sour days.
All right, so I'm gonna read what I submitted. Katie exemplifies excellence in every aspect of her work, bringing thoughtfulness, attention to detail, and critical thinking to every project she works on. Katie's ability to anticipate challenges, kind of like smelling deadlines and things that are coming up, and find creative solutions makes her an invaluable team member. Beyond her technical expertise, because Katie does a lot, she knows a lot, things that are up there in her brain, incredible. She's honest and she has open communication that fosters trust with students, faculty, and staff. Her transparency in addressing concerns and her willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue strengthen the foundation of our team. Katie's contributions do not go unnoticed. Her commitment to excellence and her ability to balance professionalism with genuine care, greatly appreciated, and we wholeheartedly support her and love having her as part of the team.
Katie, if you'd like to come down, we'll present the award, and whoever wants to take a picture, we can take the camera from you and take it.
No, you gotta be in it, you talk.
Yeah.
Just somebody.
Okay, look over here for this one. So eyes on this one.
If y'all want to do one without, that's fine.
Here, go ahead.
She's like.
Thank you. All right, next, we would like to recognize Crystal Bufano. Crystal is an academic advisor in the Academic Advising and Career Development Center, excuse me. She was nominated for the Christopher Ware Staff Star Award by Paige Hiltner. I'd like to invite Paige to share a few words about Crystal.
All right. Thank you everyone for being here today. Super excited that Crystal is receiving this award. To pair up what they said as well, she does not like the spotlight, so this is her worst nightmare. Right. Already reread this to her, so she knows what's coming, if she needed to be prepped in case some tears come out. She's prepared for this. All right, but Crystal not only advises a caseload of over 200 students, but she also supervises and trains the student office assistants who serve as our front line of the Advising and Career Development Center. These undergraduate students staff ACDC's 2 desks, and Crystal ensures that they're well prepared by training them on the flow of the semester, as well as the daily operations and structure of the Advising and Career Development Center. Anyone who has previously worked there, or those that are here that do work there, know that this is no small task. Yet Crystal has never let either responsibility slip. She consistently goes above and beyond, not only for the students she advises, but also for the students she supervises. It is not uncommon to see her advising students while simultaneously addressing challenges at the desk, balancing both her professionalism and her care. I hope she knows how deeply valued she is, not only as an advisor for the Ogden College of Science and Engineering, but also as an integral member of the entire ACDC team. Sorry, awesome.
Here, I'll step out, let you all get one. Do you want to hold this and I'll let you? All right, last but certainly not least, we would like to recognize as our third Christopher Ware Staff Star Award winner, Jarrett Murphy. Jarrett is the Associate Director of the WKU Transfer Center, and he was nominated by Allison Montgomery. Jarrett is unable to join us this morning because in keeping with his hard work, effort, and dedication, he's working a transfer event at ECTC. We tried to work with him to find another time to present this to him, but he's also has another event next month at our meeting time and so on. And we didn't want to not be able to recognize him this semester. So he was okay with us going ahead and recognizing him in his absence. And then we will present him with the award personally at another time. And then also Allison Montgomery, who nominated him, was also not available. They travel a lot, they have a lot, and I'm sure those of you in the Academic Advising Center, Transfer Center, those kind of things, you understand. So she was okay, wanted me to read her nomination remarks. So I will now read her remarks. I nominated Jarrett Murphy for recognition for their outstanding contributions to our university community. Jarrett consistently goes above and beyond in support of transfer students, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to their success and growth. Whether it's staying late to ensure a student gets the help they need or finding creative solutions to support unique challenges, Jarrett leads with compassion. As a supervisor, he sets the gold standard. When I started this job a little over 6 months ago, I had just moved to Bowling Green. He made WKU feel welcoming and like a home instantly. He fosters an environment where every team member feels supported and valued. What truly sets Jarrett apart is his kind and genuine spirit. And I too can attest to Jarrett's worthiness for this award. I work with him quite a bit with military connected students and assisting them with those that are transferring in or those that are here but want to look at potential transfer credit and things like that. And I can say that he always is professional, passionate, knowledgeable, and he is always truly willing to go above and beyond to do everything that they can within their ability to help our students. He and his team are an important part of our military student success team at WKU, and I'm personally and my team would be so grateful for having his assistance and the team there in support of our students. So let's give all three of these awardees another round of applause. And thank you all for helping us to recognize these three great staff members today. I'd like to conclude by saying that if you work with someone who goes above and beyond and deserves to be recognized, please fill out the nomination form, which is located on the Staff Senate website. And I'd also like to thank those who have nominated someone who may not have been recognized yet. I do want to mention that we have a lot of people that do get nominated, which is a good problem to have. And so we usually work through those as we receive them in the order we receive them. So there may be some of you that have nominated people that haven't been recognized yet. We just want to let you know that we appreciate that, and we are going to be working on nominating those people as soon as we can. And like I said, it's a good problem to have, so please keep the nominations coming. We as Staff Senate, we enjoy doing this. It's one of our very favorite and fun things that we get to do. So thank you again. Those of you that were recognized and the ones that came out to support them, thank you for being here. You can stay at our meeting. We'd love to have you stay, but if you have to step away, we totally understand. So, thank you.
Okay, so next we have our guest speaker, Dr. Stacy Diebelhauser from accounting is here. How do I move? Wait, I need the camera.
Thank you.
You can, would you like to be at the
I
podium?
don't care, I can be anywhere. Can I click from over there or does someone want to click for me?
We can click for
Yeah.
You
you.
can click for me, okay.
If you need anything, just let us.
Okay,
So
I
I'll
will.
leave the
I'll
camera.
tell you, Linda. To advance. So I'm Stacy Biebelhauser. I teach tax here at WKU and thought you guys might be interested. I talked here a couple of years ago, I think, about some things going on in the tax world, and just thought with the passage of the most recent bill that you all might have some things that you'd be interested in that affect individual taxpayers, because there are some things that are going to affect just what I consider like me and the regular taxpayer. So there's a lot. So I'm going to set my timer so I don't like keep you all here all day. Tax is kind of my thing, so I could just go on and on and on. So I don't want to do that. So here we go. The first thing that we have is the no tax on tips. And so you may have heard that this was coming or is now here. It's kind of odd or different the way that they are doing the tax on tips, or the no tax on tips and the no tax on overtime compensation. You would think that you would just leave that off of your return, just not put your tips on there, or not, include it on the return. And that's not the way that it's going to work. The way it works is that all of your income, everything from your W-2 or your 1099, everything goes in just like it always did. And then you will have a deduction for the tips that are not taxable. So they're actually treating it like a deduction. And some of you who have been filing taxes for a while know that we have, like, you can either itemize or you take the standard deduction, right? These deductions I'm going to talk about are in addition to the itemized deductions or the standard deduction. So you don't have to be itemizing to deduct your tips if you had tips, or if you know someone who has tip income. So kind of the big things on tip income, it is for tips up to $25,000. If tips are more than that, anything above $25,000 would be taxable. It is only, all of these provisions I'm going to talk about are good from either starting this year in 2025 through 2028. A couple of them may start in 2026, but everything expires at the end of 2028. This is also if you have a higher income individual with adjusted gross income of 150,000 or more, 300,000 or more, married filing jointly, this deduction will go away. It will start to go away for them. So probably if you're looking at 25,000 in tips, you're talking about people who work in Vegas or something like that. The other thing that's kind of interesting on this is, you know how if you go out to eat and you have a party of 6 or 8 or 10, they'll put that automatic tip. Those are not deductible. It's only the voluntary tips that people receive. So if anything is mandatory and it's put on the bill, it will not. It'll show up on their W-2 or 1099 what's eligible to be deducted, but mandatory tips are not deductible. A couple of other things to keep businesses from saying, oh, well, what if we just reclassify? I mean, I'm an accountant. What if I just if I worked in practice, what if I just reclassify some of my compensation as tips, right? And if I'm going to charge you $200 to do your tax return, what if I charge you $150 and I make you give me a $50 tip, right? So they are making a list, and they've made a list of the professions where you normally see tips. And those are the people that are going to get the deduction. And then definitely the ones they are leaving out are these people in those professions there. They will not be eligible for the deduction. And if someone is self-employed, like a hairdresser or someone's self-employed, and so they have a profit, again, you're going to look at all the revenues of the business, including the tips, and minus the expenses. And then the tip deduction cannot put them in a loss situation. So they can deduct their tips up to the amount of the profit in the business, and then no more. Okay. With the no tax on overtime, it's the same. All of the earnings go into your income on the form, and then you will deduct off the overtime, qualified overtime. One thing that may be misconstrued here is it's only the overtime premium that is deductible. So most overtime is time and a half. Sometimes it's double time, but let's say time and a half. It's only the half that you deduct. So if somebody works 45 hours in a week and they make $20 an hour, they're still gonna pay tax on $20 an hour for those extra 5 hours. It's the $10, they'd be making $30 an hour in overtime. It's only the $10 that you get to deduct there. And for overtime, the maximum amount that can be deducted is $12,500, $25,000 for joint returns. And it also phases out for your upper, above average, I guess, income taxpayers. Okay.
Is that gonna be like a separate reporting now? Because like when you get a W-2, it doesn't show regular hours.
They'll have a box. They should have a box on there for your qualified overtime now on your W-2. So your total wages will still be in the same box that it always has been, your
Right.
total amount that's taxable. And then there'll be another box on there that tells you what your qualified overtime is that you deduct out. Deduction for car loan interest. So the maximum deduction here is $10,000. So you'd be buying a heck of a car if you're paying $10,000 in interest in 1 year. But the interest is deductible. This is new. This, again, you don't have to be itemizing deductions to get this. The things here are, it has to be a brand new car. It can't be a previously owned or used car. Has to be a brand new car. The loan has to originate in 2025. So if somebody bought a qualifying car in 2024 and they borrowed money to do it, if they refinance the loan in 2025, they could deduct the interest. The other big thing is you have to include the VIN number. You have to have the VIN number of the car because the final assembly of the car has to have taken place in the United States. So the VIN number will capture that information. So you have to be careful because like if you buy a Honda, some Hondas have the final assembly here, some Hondas do not. So it's all tied to that VIN number. So you really need, if you're going to buy a car, if you really need to talk to the dealership or investigate that VIN number on your own to make sure that the final assembly was here in the United States. Okay. Our new temporary senior deduction. So for individuals who are 65 or older, at the end of 25 and going forward, there is a $6,000 deduction available to the taxpayer and the taxpayer's spouse if they're both age 65 or older. Again, this also expires at the end of 2028. And this phases out for individuals earlier than any of the other. All of the things I've talked about will phase out. This one phases out much faster and much earlier. For single individuals, it's going to phase out if their adjusted gross income is $75,000. It will start. It doesn't mean you lose it all, but you will start to lose that deduction. And then it's double that amount, $150 if you're married filing jointly, that you would lose that deduction. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, this is coming up in 2026. So this one is not available for 2025, but it will start in 2026. Non-itemizers will get to deduct their charitable contributions up to $1,000. Has to be a contribution in cash, has to be to a qualified charity or a place like, I don't know, the accounting department at Western Kentucky University. But up to $1,000, $2,000 if you're married filing jointly. And I guess that's it. It's kind of like we did that during COVID. There was a little bit that you could deduct, I think $300 or $600 or something during those years if you didn't itemize deductions. So this will be handled the same way. Now, they are doing something on the negative side for the itemizers. Charitable deductions, if you itemize deductions, they are going to put a floor in there. So if you've ever tried to deduct medical expenses, it's like, oh, well, they've got to exceed like 7.5% of your AGI before you can deduct the first dollar. It's the same here. The first 0.5% of your AGI, they're not going to let you deduct in charitable contributions. So if somebody's making $50,000 a year, 0.5% of $50,000 would be $250. So that first $250 you would not be deductible. It would be everything above that. So they're putting a floor in there. I don't know why they would mess with that, but they did. So next. Salt, this probably doesn't, I don't know. It does affect people in Kentucky, but people in California and New York, it's a much bigger deal for them. But if you itemize, property taxes and state income taxes are deductible, but there's a cap on that of $10,000. So people who live in areas where property taxes are really high, or they make money, quite a bit of money, and they've got high state income tax, they don't get to deduct all of it. It gets capped at $10,000. So they're removing that cap and they're bringing it up. They're not removing it, but they're extending it up to $40,000. So it will help people who are in some of those, I guess it will help some of the higher income people or people who are living in states that have really high property taxes and all that. And then it's indexed after 2025, that 40,000 will get bigger and bigger and bigger until 2030, and then it goes back to 10,000 again. So, okay. Oh, the Trump accounts. So I got to be careful here because I could spend time on these. So this is something new you may or may not have heard about, but so Trump accounts are going to be, you're going to be able to establish one of these for a child who is under the age of 18. They didn't like my crying baby, so they messed up my slides. So for a child that's under the age of 18, you can set up a Trump account for a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, really anybody that wants to can establish the account. Think of an IRA. It's the same idea as an IRA. Now, the big thing in 2025, if I had a granddaughter, I had a granddaughter that was born on June 21st, right? First day of summer of 2025. So she will get $1,000 from the government to put in her as seed money for her Trump account. So any baby born in 2025 that has a social security number, both parents have to have a social security number, eligible to work in the United States, that child will get $1,000 put in the account. If the parent establishes the account or grandparent, the government will put it in that account. If nobody establishes an account, the IRS is supposed to establish an account for them in their spare time. So that is a big plus, right? You get $1,000, kind of almost free money because you're going to pay tax on it later, but not in 2025 and not for until that child pulls it out. So here's the deal. So that all sounds great. So you put the money in there. Now, these rules are kind of all over the place right now. So they haven't solidified all of it. So what I'm going to tell you is the best information I could find right now, but it could change a little bit. So right now what I'm seeing is contributions made by parents, grandparents, whomever wants to put money in the account will not be deductible. There's a little bit of wavering on that, but that they will not be deductible. You put the money in there. The money grows tax-free until the child turns 18. Now, the other thing I'm seeing that gives me pause is you cannot take the money out. Like, there are no distributions. So I'm not seeing where, well, there's a penalty or there's this or that. What I'm reading is no distribution. So my son-in-law has a cousin whose 3-year-old was just diagnosed with cancer. If they had money in their account, could they not take it out? Like, what if they need it, you know? So anyway, again, I'm not sure that information is all complete, but what I'm reading right now says you cannot take it out till they get 18. Then when they turn 18, they can take it out. The child is the owner of the account, but they can take it out for higher education, first-time home buyer, and there's one other reason that they can take it out. Oh, no, that's the different one, expenses for, I think there's one other reason that they can take it out. My stuff cut off too. It does say expenses for birth or adoption, so maybe if they have a baby. Okay. They can access, when they're 18 years old, they can access 50% of the funds for those reasons, okay? They would have to pay tax on the earnings when they withdraw the money. So money that was put in there for them, that's not going to be taxable to them, but anything that it has earned, they pull out is going to be taxable. They can access 25 or 50% of the funds at that point. At age 25, the child could withdraw the rest of the money if they want for those same reasons, okay? And at age 30, the account holders have full access to the money, but it converts to an IRA. When they're 18, it converts to an IRA. So they have full access to the money, meaning they can take the money out, but they're going to pay a 10% penalty if they don't use it for one of those expenses. So it's really set up for their retirement, which I think is great, but things happen. And so it's, I don't know. It's, there are other ways you can save. The one thing you cannot do is start an IRA for a baby, because an IRA, you have to have earned income to contribute to an IRA. So it would be a way to start an IRA for a child and get kind of their retirement started, just knowing that you really aren't going to be able to maybe not touch that money. Again, they haven't worked all of the kinks out of it yet, so they may loosen up on some of that stuff before it's set in stone. You can't make the contributions until July 4th of 2026. They gave themselves a year to get it all worked out, but they're going to they will give the $1,000 for sure. You want to get the $1,000 for any kids that are born in 2025 through 2028. Whether you continue to contribute to that money or not, you just need to do some investigating on that. But I do think it's great. And I get that they don't want to give $1,000 to the child and then the parents turn around a week later and pull it out. I mean, I get that. The point of it is to help people start to save toward retirement. So it really depends on what you want to do. You can do 529 plans, which are a little more flexible and maybe have different tax advantages. So you would just want to investigate it, but be aware it's out there. Know that if you've got anybody in your family that's going to have a baby or has had a baby in these years, make sure that they get that $1,000 for those kids. And then you can look into it, but it is intended to be a retirement account. It's a long way from birth to 59. It's not that long. It's a lot faster than people think, right? But anyway, the money's pretty well tied up there. Gosh, no, I'm not out of time yet. Okay, I was like, oh, I forgot about the staff awards. Okay, so do y'all have any questions on that? Or if you think of any, you can ask me at the end. Okay, we can do our next one here. Tax credits that were repealed early. Most of these, I guess all of these have to do with green energy types of initiatives. They were all supposed to expire in 2032 and they all sped up. The clean vehicle credit and the commercial clean vehicle tax credit both expired yesterday. So hopefully you weren't thinking of buying an EV and missed that boat there. They have 2 more alternate fuel vehicle refueling property credit. I don't know exactly what that is. I didn't really look into it. Sounds to me like a place you can plug in your own car. And then your residential home improvements and things like that, those credits are going to be expiring. If you're doing any remodeling to your house, or if you know a contractor who's building a new house, just if it's your own house and you're remodeling and you want to get any tax credits, those are going to expire at the end of this year. So you might want to just check into that. A lot of times they make those appliances and things even more expensive because they think you're going to get a tax credit, but it would just be something to look into so that you don't not take advantage of something that you could. And then the bottom one there, I don't remember the name of that credit either, but it was really for contractors that are building new homes that are energy efficient, and that one expires in 2026. Okay. Tax provisions from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, that all of the big changes that started in 2018, the ones that were made permanent, the big increase in standard deduction, so they about doubled it a few years ago. That's going to stay. That was supposed to expire at the end of this year. We used to have exemptions for dependents. So you used to, if you had a dependent, you got a tax deduction for them. They took that away when they increased the standard deduction. So those are permanently gone now. Limits on mortgage interest is made permanent. And all of those are things that are in effect now, and they've just been made permanent. So you won't see any like changes in any of that stuff. The child tax credit is, it was slated to go back to $1,000 after this year. It's gonna stay at 2,000, and they actually increased it to 2,200 for this year, and it's gonna index from now on. So it used to, I mean, it's been $2,000 for several years except for COVID. Now it's gonna go up every year. These credits were also increased, the adoption credit, child independent care tax credit, and they've expanded some expenses on 529 plans for, especially for people who are using that for K through 12 education. It will also cover some other expenses that they have. And then cost of like the ACT exam or SATs can come out of a 529 plan. And then credentialing programs. So if somebody's just getting a certification that's required by their job and they have to go back to school or they have to go through a program to do that and it costs money. If they had any money left in their 529 plan, they can use it for that. It's not 100% for college. This is a bad, well, in my opinion, this is a bad thing. This is a very bad thing. It's one reason that we've got the shutdown right now, because this is one of the things that they're pushing for. This credit did not make it into the one big beautiful bill, so it was not extended. But those of us who work at Western, you know, we have our health insurance subsidizing, so we have a group plan. It still can be expensive if you've got a spouse and children on your plan. But for people who do not have an employer provided health insurance plan, the average cost for a 50-year-old person who does not have health insurance through their employer is anywhere from $666 to over $800 a month. And it's just hard to afford. So back with the Obamacare thing, they started this premium tax credit that a person whose household income was under a certain amount, they could get a tax credit to help offset the cost of that health insurance. And so it made health insurance affordable for them. That credit's going away. I know a person, I have a friend who neither of them, they are both fully employed. Neither of them have a job where health insurance is provided. They're looking at having to spend around $1,700 a month to insure both of them. And they're not going to be able to do that. So they say, well, you just don't have health insurance because you know, if you get hurt, you go to the hospital, you go to the ER, they have to treat you. But the problem is the health insurance does provide for free screenings. So you catch things early if you have health insurance, even if it's terrible, you know, you got this high deductible, it's never going to help you. It does get you the free screenings. And so people are going to lose out on that if they can't afford their health insurance. So we'll have more incidences of colon cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and all that stuff without the screenings. So I hope that if they get anything in this big fight we're in now, I hope that they will at least bring this back personally. Oh, and then what the questions that you guys asked me. So go ahead and click the first one there, I think is, 457s versus 401ks. And I'm not a big expert on this, but what I learned, and you may want to look at a little more, the 457s are really more of a state and local government plan that you have to be employed through more of that type of entity. And I know we have those available here too, I think. The one big advantage to the 457 is once you leave service, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can pull money out of that account. That's what I understand. Where with a 401k, you have to be 59 and a half before you can start pulling money out without a penalty on it. So it's better for early retirement. The 457 is probably better for that. Matching is less common with the 457 than with the 401k. More employers will match or match part of your contribution with the 401k. But the catch-up provisions, if you haven't been saving money and you're in like your last 3 years kind of before retirement, you can dump a lot more money in the 457 potentially than you can the 401k because the limits to catch up are a little bit higher there. So those are some things. Our changes, permanent or temporary, at least the ones affecting individuals are gonna be temporary, expiring in 2028. Recent changes have had the biggest impact. I honestly think that standard deduction, when they doubled the amount of the standard deduction, something in places you read will tell you that almost 90% of Americans use the standard deduction now. They don't have to keep up with all their records and do the itemized deduction. So that probably had the biggest impact. For some people, maybe more, some positive, some negative, but I think that was probably the biggest one recently. Planning for taxes in retirement, someone was asking if they should worry about quarterly taxes in retirement. For any type of like pension, that you are, or retirement plan that you're drawing out of, you can actually have things, you can have withholdings set up on those accounts as a percentage. Even Medicare, you can ask that they withhold a percentage of that before you ever receive it. And that's probably the easiest way to make sure your taxes get paid. If someone has income from sources that don't have the ability to withhold, then they would need to set up quarterly taxes. But as long as you don't owe more than $1,000 at the end of the year, you won't get hit with a penalty. Just, it's never fun to pay, right? It's always more fun to receive. Let's see have here. Education incentives from the government or from WKU. The one thing the government is doing, the question was with the 5250 that that employers can pay up to $5,250 of tuition for one of their employees, and that's a tax-free benefit. They are going to start indexing that amount in 2026, so that 5250 will get bigger, which helps because tuition has increased when they've never increased the 5250. So that will help if the employers will follow along and then pay more, would be nice. And then I don't think WKU has changed their benefits of allowing, dependents to get half tuition. Unfortunately, that doesn't cover course fees, but it does cover tuition. And then I think employees can take up to 6 hours. Yeah. And that's a tax-free benefit, so I believe it is. Okay. What can low-income folks do that can benefit them tax-wise? Unfortunately, there's not a lot that can just be done. If somebody has enough money to save toward retirement, there is a saver's credit that is available. But unless you own a business or, there's not a lot of things you can just do for deductions, because with the standard deduction, that takes care of a lot of things where we used to have to personally contribute. And then I think the last one is somebody asked about the American Opportunity Credit and the Lifetime Learning Credit. So I have a slide on each of those to just show you, if you want to click. The American Opportunity Credit, this is for a student who is in their first 4 years of education, and it is for eligible expenses and institutions. So this is higher education. It is applied per student. So I had 3 kids in college at the same time for a year or two. And they could have each one of them could have gotten the credit on my return. It is for the taxpayer's spouse, the dependent, and if you are claiming your child, you have to take the credit. Even if they're paying for their education, it's the taxpayer. So if they're not your dependent, they can have it. If you are claiming, it's you. The maximum amount is $2,500, and this is out of pocket expenses. So if Western is paying half their tuition, you can only take the credit on the half that you pay, and the course fees that you pay, and the books that you pay for, and so if there's a scholarship that covers part of it, you don't get the credit on that amount, just on your out-of-pocket amount. And it does phase out. All the good stuff phases out at some point. Okay, for higher income individuals. 40% of that credit is refundable. So that means if it exceeds how much you owe in taxes, that you would actually get a refund. And then our last one is the Lifetime Learning Credit. This is for eligible expenses. It can be college, it can be grad school. If somebody's aged out, like they're in their 6th year of college, or they're going to grad school, or they're just taking a seminar, right? If you've got to do any type of continuing education for your job, I have to get continuing ed because I'm a CPA. So I have to get education. So it would cover that, or it would be used for that. So it doesn't have to be a college course that you're enrolled in. It does for the American Opportunity Credit, but not for lifetime learning because it's for a lifetime. So hopefully we're not all gonna be in school forever. This is applied per taxpayer. So you only get the credit. I mean, you can add students together or dependents, you can add it together, but it's not like with the American Opportunity Credit you could get. I could have, if I needed, I could have gotten 7,500 because 2,500 per kid. One of my kids got a scholarship. She's the smart one, we say, but I could have gotten up to $7,500 in credits, but that's not the case here. Here it's 20% of the first $10,000 of eligible expenses. So 2,000 is the maximum you get, whether it's one person getting it or whether you got 5 people all taking courses somewhere doing something. You pool it all together, 10,000. So 20% of the first 10,000 eligible expenses. And I think that's it. I think I'm done. I think I made it in 30 minutes. I did, 30 minutes and 33 seconds.
I've got a question. For an individual who contracts themselves out and they
Yes.
receive a 1099.
Yes.
What is the best practice to go ahead and pay? Because last year I did not do that and
Yes.
it hurt so bad.
Yes.
So what's the best practice? Because I don't always do it.
Right.
So if I'm,
So in that case, and that's kind of where the best thing to do is go ahead when you receive that money and make a quarterly estimate that quarter. Now your tax person will kind of have to do some, like, he had uneven income, so that's why you made it, like if you make it in the 3rd quarter, because what the government wants is you to make installments every quarter. But if all your income comes in, if you did that in 1 quarter and that's when your income came in, you're not going to get your 1099 until the end of the year. But if you know that's when it came in, then you can get out of a penalty. But once you know, so say you got paid $8,000, I would go ahead and make an estimated payment to the government for probably, if you have any expenses that you can deduct from that, like business expenses, you can do it off your net. But to be fairly safe, probably around 20% or so, 20 to 25% of that amount. I mean, it's always, like I said, you'd rather get it back at the end than have to pay and then get hit with a penalty at the
Right.
end.
so it's just my services that I contract out. So I haven't set anything up because it's
Right.
not just a real business. It's just
Yes, it's just things that you do and it comes in over time
Right.
kind of thing. Yeah.
So is it possible just to send 20% in then? Where do you send something like that to?
Yes. Oh, well, I mean, you could send in the 20%. You can do it online. There's a form, you can get online and do it. And your tax preparer can tell you how to do that. I can tell you how to do that. But and if you have any idea of what you think it might be over the course of a year, which you may not have any idea, you could send it in every quarter. But if you just do it like, I don't know if it's something like, okay, well, I've got this extra job here, and once it's done, I'm gonna send in 20%. You can do that.
Okay, so it probably won't be done till sometime in 26.
Are you getting paid along the way?
Yes,
I would send it in along the way
okay.
because you're a cash basis taxpayer. So you're gonna get a 1099 this year for what you received this year. So you'll want to do it as you receive it. And you would do it, like I said, if you don't have to do it, I mean, you can do it right when you get that. You can send it in. It'll be like for that quarter of the year is what they'll look at it
I'm
as.
sure they'd love to have my money.
Yeah, they would. But that'll keep you safe.
Now,
It is hard when you have a salary already, or you have money, a regular job, and then you stack something on top of it, because when you stack it on top, it's at your highest rate of tax, because it's being stacked on top of all your other money already. So it's a really good idea to send that estimate in as soon as you can figure out what it should be.
So what about the state? Just since,
Same 5%, well. 4%, it's either 4 or 4.5% for the state, so we're working our tax away in the state, so. I'd probably send in, 4.5% of the net to the state. Anything else?
Can you briefly talk about some of the tax implications of the VSIP?
I haven't really-
In my mind, you went, of course, no plans have been announced for a VSIP, but I think they're gonna continue to roll them out. So in my mind, you get a year's pay. And the IRS takes 42%.
I don't know how much they take,
Well,
but I do.
40, they take a chunk because it's,
Because it's getting stacked on top of
right.
whatever income you're
Right,
making as
so,
well.
so when I go to file taxes at the end of the year, if I'm not in that tax bracket that warrants that big of a chunk being taken out, do I get that back as a refund?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You do. So, yeah, so if you overpay, then, I mean, they'll calculate your taxes just like they always do on what your income is. It'll be higher that year because you got
Right.
extra money, but you will get back anything.
And I mean, but it's my understanding that the IRS takes that chunk out because it's like a one-time payment or
It's kind of like his,
yeah,
it's kind of like his, it's all coming in at one time, and so, yeah.
okay.
All right, great. Well, thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go on to our reports. We're gonna mix it up. I'm gonna start from the bottom and go to the top. So crazy in October. All right, so that means I'm first. So I met with the president on September 23rd. I'm just gonna give you 3 bullet points. Anybody welcome if you want more information or want more details, or you want me to pass information on to the president, let me know. I will be your, the in-between. All right, so we talked about the role and the importance of the BEC. The BEC is the Budget Executive Committee. We talked about what good department leadership looks like and the unity of WKU. And I'm gonna let her give you the BEC, the Budget Executive Committee, talking points.
The last time that we met on the 23rd of September, the bullet points, we heard update on fiscal year 25 finances. We heard from 2, what do they call them, non-revenue generating units on fiscal year 25 performance. Those 2 units were student experience and president's office. Had a discussion on compensation and forwarded a recommendation to the president for his consideration.
All right.
Do we have,
Yes.
do we know when they're gonna release the 25?
The final numbers, they did not say, they just went over where everybody come in, actual versus budgeted.
By division?
Yes. But they didn't specify when those final numbers would be released.
Okay, next would be vice chair. He's not here. Secretary. No report. John.
no report.
Technology.
No report.
Treasurer. Numbers.
Numbers, E and G index, starting balance $2,560.42, no additions, no disbursements, spending balance the same. Our staff's in an excellence fund, beginning balance is $2,275. The balance the same. People policies, starting balance $1,915.90. Ending balance the same, still the book policy, still having hit the index. And that takes a while because the foundation is always a couple months behind, so it'll be a little bit before I see those. The events committee that I am chair of, I wanted to just give a quick update. We're rolling forward with our plans for the meet and greet next month. Yes, it's next month, it's already here. And I would like to put forth a motion to approve $400 total expenses for this event.
Second.
And anybody opposed? Okay, we're really playing fast and loose without huge orders today, that's all right. And then, working with Kent for the awards, we'll get those printed and taken care of as part of that $400. And then I did go to faculty summit last month, I figured since I'm talking, I was going to talk about it. The president came, gave a lot of the same talking points that he gave to our speech, our meeting that we had last month. Did clarify what he meant by positivity, if you were interested in listening to that part of his conversation. The faculty senate, of course, is a different slant necessarily than what we're interested in, but was again talking about HRO and how they are a separate entity from WKU, and a lot of faculty centered talking points, but it was a very similar speech. Nothing really of note, and if you have any questions, just let me know. The rest of the meeting was going through their report for their various committees, of which they were in. So it was a quick meeting after that.
Is theirs recorded as well?
They're not live, but they are recorded, so you can go back and look at those. I can give you a link to that.
And we did do book scholarships?
I'm still working on the administrative side.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Got it.
Right, it's just the last semester, so I haven't.
Oh,
I don't have that
okay,
report.
okay, all right. You're
I'm done.
You're done,
I'm
okay,
done.
all right, then. Staff Regent Hammond.
I don't think I have a report. We won't have a meeting until November. Hopefully we'll get budget updates since perhaps they will release that soon. This month I think it's been, or the last couple months have been more of, events and some of the stuff we've had, naming, for the buildings. We've had the opening of Chandler Hall and those types of things has been more, behind the scenes and networking with the board and some of that stuff. We haven't had any business week. This is that long gap where there wasn't any meetings. So since they moved everything so that we'd have all the budget stuff. And so this is where there's just really business or anything happening. October is the president evaluation month. So I did receive the evaluation to do for the president. I haven't started on that yet. He gives us a book that has his annual report in it. It kind of, demonstrates all of the work that's been done for the university over the last year. It's not necessarily anything that is all his work. It's really a rehash of what the university's done for that year. And then the evaluation came for us to do, but I haven't started on that. I'll review the questions, but that'll be due by the end of the month. And I would introduce Rush for joining us as the student rep.
What's up?
Is he on our list?
He's not,
But I would love if he would, if he would like us to give us any updates on the student happenings.
One of it comes out university, so if there's anything I can do, please let me know.
If any needs that you all have that we can support and help, please reach out to us. We're happy to help and be there as support for you all.
okay, all right.
You scared me.
What did? I'm so sorry.
I have no report.
Darn, I thought you had really something good to say. Cause I went backwards. Okay, all right. Any old business that we need to discuss? Oh, yes, yeah.
I don't know if it's old business or new business, but do we want to decide whether we have a January meeting or not? Or do we want to do that in executive? It's been on the table whether we should or should not have one. I don't know.
What is the calendar with?
They'll be done right back, don't we?
December short, Kat.
Yeah, it's like
Like 2.5
immediate.
weeks this year.
So I don't know that we'll have any business.
Yeah,
We'll have just
some of-
had a meeting and then we won't be here. So I don't know if we want to make that decision so we can,
Yeah,
Do we
that
have to
meeting-
vote on
meeting-
that? Is that those things we have to vote on?
Yeah, we would.
I think so. But I just thought we should put it on the agenda, if not today, to decide.
I make a motion that we don't have that meeting. Second.
Any discussion, I guess, right?
Anybody needing the January meeting? I don't think so. No, no, okay, all right. Just like that?
Just like.
Yes,
No January meeting.
Motion carried.
I know, what day, are we coming back on the fifth?
Yes. But we get out like on the Wednesday.
Monday. It's Monday.
Monday, Tuesday, yeah.
A little bit of it, sure.
Right.
I need those 2 extra days.
Yeah, you know, I like having,
I don't know who gets it.
I like to have a few extra hours in my pocket.
Yeah, some of y'all are getting that, that's great.
I would say it's not really new, it was, I'll talk about business, but it wasn't regent role related, but for the academic calendar, the calendar committee met and we are sending through, the academic calendar for 26, 27, and 27, 28 to go ahead and have 2 years, approved. So the and it's at CAD for the next approval, and then it'll go to the president for final approval. But our goal this year was to get 26, 27 fully approved, and 27, 28 fully approved with all buy terms and all of those things done. And then 28, 29, and 29, 30 with beginning dates, end dates, spring breaks, fall breaks, and all that stuff planned out. So we at least had tentative dates scheduled out through 29, 30. So if people wanted to plan and do some stuff, we had dates out there for a little bit longer that way. Because students always come in and ask, you know, do you know when such and such will be, we want to plan, you know, I don't know, honeymoons and whatever. So thought we would try to start planning out a little bit longer of a schedule. So that's our goal for this year, and so hopefully we'll have some updates on that soon, but I'll share that.
Big planners. All right, so we're saying that's new business. Any more new business? No, what, I mean. Any public comment?
Yeah, I would like for the benefits committee to look at dismantling Top Life. I don't agree with the concept of paying increased insurance premiums and then also having to do more busy work to collect virtual points. That's supposed to give me a discount on my health insurance, but doesn't.
It's been brought up, it's been talked about.
So I'm just throwing that out there. I can't seem to get an answer if the Top Life program is actually leading to a decrease in health insurance claims. There seems to be,
How would you measure that?
there seems to be evidence that it does, seems to be evidence that it doesn't. I guess it's all in terms
Who
of,
you talk to, yeah.
I just want to say that I'm opposed to making employees pay more and do more for the same. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, there was a situation where it was a little misleading. If I got a certain type of blood work done, that I could get some points for why I paid.
Oh.
That's a waste.
Yeah.
That's stupid. So
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't feel any healthier. Now, I do like getting my blood drawn every year, just to see where I'm at. I'm all for that. But I don't feel any healthier because of the program.
You had
I have-
to pay because it was something extra?
Yeah, the
was
way.
it the cotinine screening or something?
I can't remember what it was.
I know, I haven't smoked a cigarette since that one time I tried it when I was 12 years old, and then my mother beat me. I haven't smoked a cigarette since, but I'm getting tested for nicotine just so I can get points.
There was something like this.
A lot of busy work.
You're right. It's
A lot of
it's a lot of busy work, and you know, and I'm thankful that they decided to do a flat dollar increase versus a percentage increase on health insurance this year. As stupid as it sounds, I'm thankful that my health insurance is only going up $98 a year. But if I've got to continue to do points, if I gotta, you know, if I gotta be mindful of that, I need to walk at least 10,000 steps a day. That's the only reason why I'm wearing a Fitbit, is so I can get points to go to Vitality, you know, it's just.
I wouldn't be shocked if if 26 is the last year that we.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't think anything's set in stone. It's definitely been talked about.
if my health insurance costs are gonna continue to go up, then fine, I'll accept that, but if I'm gonna have to do more for busy work, then
Right.
something, no, like, no.
That's been brought up by more than one person
So,
last year.
I'm all for getting my blood drawn and having all.
yeah,
the
I'm all,
Don't
yeah,
where
I'm
I'm at.
all for getting the screening, but then,
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you should.
yeah.
Do you know if Vitality has a new app and some changes? So I'll kind of be interested to see how the points and activities are changed with the new app.
I'm all for getting the
Rearranging.
screenings and all that stuff, but I also think that it's asinine that I'm getting myself tested for nicotine. But I don't smoke or use tobacco.
Well, now there's the, the wellness committee or something for the university, maybe. They could tie something together, I don't know. Anything else? No? Okay, announcements, just for everybody, the staff engagement survey is still open through Friday. So everybody's assignment in here right now, today when you leave, you're gonna go find somebody that has not filled out their staff engagement survey and have them fill it out. I mean, I've harassed everybody I know to make sure that they have filled that out, and then let them know that it is unanimous or anonymous, anonymous, that we do, I know, I wish it was, I mean, because I've heard that we've got like 1,400 employees, and we can't even get, 400 people to fill this out, so we really, really want people to fill it out. It is anonymous. If anybody has any questions, about that, like, it truly, truly is. So anyway, that's your charge for today. Go out and have people fill out the survey. Anything else on announcements? Oh, the meet and greet's next month. That's right. Oh, it's November 5th.
Yeah.
So, and we had a question on how, we recognize the year, we've only been doing this, this will be our second year, right?
Third semester. Yeah,
Third semester, okay, so. If we are going to miss people on their years of service recognition. Because if you didn't fall in your 5, 10, 15, one of those years. We've only been doing this for a few years, so we're eventually gonna get you, but we do from fall. So when we recognize this next month, we are looking at people who started WKU in August 1 to December 31st. Those are the people that we're recognizing, and then we'll get people who started in the spring and summer, we'll recognize them in the spring meet and greet, so. All right. Good, all right, motion to adjourn.